Welcome in, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you enjoyed the Bosnia and Herzegovina versus USA World Cup round of 32 game last night. So I just want to give my take and reaction to the game. Um, I'm going to give my reaction as a fan of Bosnia, and also I'm going to give my reaction as someone who lives in the US and who is a resident and citizen in the US. So we had a really interesting game last night. As a Bosnia fan, I was disappointed with the result 2-0 for the USA, but it was still a good tournament and we still have a lot to look forward to. Before I jump into the topic, I would like to mention that on my YouTube channel, I create content about sports, money, and personal topics with the goal of bringing value to your life. So if you find value in this video, go ahead, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. Also, hit that like button and make some comments on your reaction to the Bosnia and USA game. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the game. First, we're going to give a little game summary, and then we're going to talk about the starting lineup and which players I thought played good and which players I thought did not play so good. So, heading into this game, this was a huge game for both teams. For Bosnia and Herzegovina, this is the country's first time to qualify for the knockout phase, and only the country's second time being in the World Cup, second time from 2014 was the last time Bosnia was in the World Cup. So this was a huge deal for Bosnia and Herzegovina, for all the citizens of Bosnia, and the whole country was up at 2 a.m. their local time watching the game. So just a huge, huge moment for Bosnia as a country, and this was must watch for all of us. For the USA, they're one of the host countries along with Canada and Mexico. They have a lot of hype on their team. For a lot of years, they've been trying to go deep in the World Cup, and a lot of people are thinking that this is their moment, with their head coach Pochettino, who a lot of people like, and he's is a really good coach, and just a lot of excitement in the U.S. for the U.S. men's national team. So just a lot of excitement and build up into this game, and for us as Bosnians living in the U.S., this was kind of like a dream scenario for our home country to play the USA, and the World Cup is in the USA. So this is just like once in a lifetime opportunity, and it was just a huge moment for both countries heading into the match. So let's talk about the game itself. So in the first 15 minutes, both of the teams were feeling each other out. Um, and for the US, they've scored early in a lot of their games so far, but that wasn't the case in this game. Bosnia was pretty solid defensively. They were organized and they didn't give too many opportunities to the U.S. for majority of the first half. Um, Bosnia capitalized on a sleeping defense following a deceptive goal kick, forcing U.S. goalkeeper Matt Freese to make two massive early saves against Ermedin Demirovic, and Karim Alibegovic nearly scored directly off an ensuing corner kick. So the game had a pretty good start to it. Both teams had a couple of opportunities, but nobody was able to capitalize. In the 32nd minute, Serginho Dest pressured the Bosnian defense into a turnover, setting up Weston McKinney, who threaded a pass to Folarin Balogun. Balogun finished beautifully into the net, but the goal was waved off after a tight VAR review caught his leg, his left leg slightly offside. So, as a Bosnia fan, this was definitely an early scare. I thought the goal was going to stand. It looked good, but we we got a break and it was an offside. So after that, the first half was almost over, and I was kind of hopeful. I was thinking that it would be 0-0 going into half, and I think that would have favored Bosnia for sure. But in the 45th minute, opening goal right before halftime, U.S. captain Tim Ream intercepted a Bosnian goal kick at midfield and found Tyler Adams. Adams flicked it to Malik Tillman, who's deflected. Through ball fell perfectly to Folarin Balogun. Balogun kept his composure, hitting a low left-footed shot past goalkeeper Nikola Vasid. And this time his goal stood. So kind of a very similar situation to that first goal that he scored that was called offside. Bosnia made an error in the defense. They didn't clear the ball out, and Balogun takes advantage of it and scores. And there you have it. First half ends, the US is up 1-0, and it was a bad finish to the first half for sure for Bosnia. So, I mean, just a couple more thoughts on the first half. Bosnia was playing, I thought, pretty well defensively. They had a 5-3-2 lineup, so they usually went with 4-4-2, but this time they put in an extra defender, Stjepan Radelic, on the defensive side, but that didn't really pay off with them allowing that goal. So Bosnia didn't play the best in the first half, but I thought it was like good enough, and I was still optimistic that they were going to turn it up in the second half, but the US got that goal, and that just kind of brought bad momentum for Bosnia going into the half. But for the US, they definitely played better in the first half. They deserved that 1-0 lead, and they had more possession in the first half and more opportunities. So I think they earned that 1-0 lead going to the half, but as a Bosnia fan, I was definitely disappointed. All right, so we get to the second half, and in the 64th minute, turning point, um, the tone of the match shifted dramatically when the goal scorer, Balogun, was issued a straight red card by Brazilian referee Rafael Klaus. Following a challenge inside the U.S. attacking third, Balogun inadvertently clamped down on the ankle of Bosnian defender Tarik Muharemovic, Despite appearing accidental, a VAR review upheld the serious foul play ejection, leaving the US to protect their slim lead with 10 men. So this was the biggest moment, the biggest opportunity for the Bosnian team. The goal scorer from the first half steps on Mohademovic's ankle. It wasn't on purpose, but it was still very, very dangerous, and he could have broke his ankle. And I think the red card was deserved. I've heard a lot of commentators say that he shouldn't have gotten a red card, but when you actually look at it, that was, even though it wasn't intentional, it was still really, really dangerous and as bad of a foul as you can see. So Balogun gets the red card. We as Bosnian fans, we were very optimistic. We were going to have 30 to 40 minutes to try to tie things up with one extra man for us. And there was just a lot of hope in that moment, but that didn't pan out. Um, in the 70th minute, Christian Pulisic thought he had scored his first goal of the tournament after an elegant passing sequence from McKinney and Tillman, but the flag was raised again for offside. So even with one less man on the field, the US was still able to play pretty well, play pretty good defense, and they had this opportunity for Pulisic that was called offside. And still being hopeful that Bosnia was able to tie things up with around 15 minutes left. The game really was closed out in the 82nd minute. The cushion goal, guarding a narrow lead under heavy Bosnian pressure, the US won a crucial free kick just outside the penalty box. Malik Tillman stepped up and curled a stunning world-class strike over the wall into the top left corner of the net, sealing the 2-0 scoreline. So nothing else I can say except just really credit to Malik Tillman and the US in this situation. They played still pretty well, again, with one less man. They get this free kick, they take advantage of it, and they go up 2-0. So nothing really I can say other than just credit to the US, credit to Tillman for scoring that goal, and they took advantage of it. And towards the end of the game, closing it out, thoroughly exhausted, Pochettino used his bench to preserve the win, bringing on Berhalter, Pepe, and Gio Reyna to absorb Bosnia's relentless aerial attack. But even with that extra man, Bosnia really wasn't getting a lot of opportunities towards the end. Ermin Mahmic came in for Bosnia in the second half, and he had a couple of nice shots on goal, but he missed the target. And there you have it. The game is wrapped up. US wins 2-0, and they move on to face Belgium in the round of 16. And Bosnia and Herzegovina is unfortunately eliminated from the World Cup tournament. And that is that. Um, I mean, just watching this game, obviously I was rooting for Bosnia. I wanted them to win so bad. But, you know, there's really nothing to be sad or mad or upset about. The US, in my opinion, played better in this game. They had home field advantage in the US with their fans. When they had their opportunities, they had more opportunities than Bosnia. They capitalized on them. The Balogun the Balogun goal and the Tillman goal from the free kick. All you can do is just give credit to them. They took advantage of their opportunities. Bosnia didn't have that many opportunities, and the U.S. won the game. So credit to the U.S. The Bosnia could have played better. Disappointing as a Bosnia fan, but nothing you can do about it. And the U.S. moves on, and Bosnia is out. Just some of the stats that I want to go over. So let's see here. So we know US had 2 goals, Bosnia 0. Total shots, US had 8, Bosnia had 10. So Bosnia actually had more total shots than the US. But shots on target, the US had 5 versus 2 for Bosnia. Goalkeeper saves, US had 2, Bosnia had 3. So in the first half, the US definitely was more dominant and had more control of the ball. But in the second half, with one extra man, Bosnia was able to take more control of the ball and have more opportunities. So in the end, the two teams were actually pretty evenly matched as far as stats and numbers. But again, that's with US having one less man on the field. So still a good game to watch. Amazing opportunity for both teams, but the USA gets it done. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup for Bosnia and just talk about some of the players. So in the game against the United States, they changed their lineup a little bit. Usually Bosnia goes with a 4-4-2, but in this game they went with a 5-3-2 lineup. So a little bit of a change there. The 5 defenders were Kolasinac, Radelic, Katic, Moharemovic, and Dedic. The 3 midfielders were Gigovic, Šunjic, and Alajbegovic. And the 2 attackers, as usual, were Demirovic and Dzeko. So the difference in this starting lineup was that Radelic was an extra defender that Bosnia put on defense. So Bosnia was definitely going into this game with the intent of just playing defense, playing a low block, and that's why they put an extra man on the defensive line. So, I mean, I think Bosnia's defense played a solid game. Obviously, they let 2 goals slip, but one was the free kick, and then the other one was just kind of a silly mistake in the backfield. But I think Kolasinac had a pretty good game on the left side. He had a lot of good tackles. He cleared a lot of balls deep. Radelic, he's 6'7". He's just an intimidating presence on the defensive side. Nikola Katic, solid game. Moharemovic had a good game as well. He was back in the Bosnia's lineup after missing the last game. And Amar Dedic was solid on the right hand side. In the midfield, Gigovic, Šunjic, Alajbegovic, they played pretty well as well. Um, Surprised that Ivan Basic didn't play in this game. He usually plays alongside Šunjic, so that was a bit of a change as well. Gigovic got the start in his game, and Esmir Bariktarevic did not start in the game since Bosnia was using that extra defender, Radovic. The odd man out was Baraktarevic, but he came in the second half. And up top, Demirovic and Dzeko. And honestly, I was pretty disappointed with the two strikers. Edin Dzeko, at his age, he just can't run. He's not fast at all. The only thing he really has an advantage in is his height and skill when he gets the ball, but he's just not able to run like these other guys. He's not able to run past any defenders. He just really is good at using his height to his advantage, but he really had no chances in this game. So, not the best game by him. And also Demirovic, I think he had maybe one opportunity on the goal that I can remember. He is very fast and he's a lot more athletic than Dzeko, but Demirovic maybe not as skilled as Dzeko. He didn't have that many opportunities other than one that I can think of. So, I mean, I think Bosnia's defense played again good. The midfielders were just, okay. And I think the two attackers, Demirovic and Dzeko, for me, were a bit disappointing just because they really had no opportunities in the game. Um, in the second half, Bosnia did make some substitutions. Like I mentioned, Barektarevic came in, Mamic came in, and that combination of Barektarevic and Alajbegovic, who started the game, was a lot better in the second half, and they had a lot more opportunities than Demirovic and Dzeko did in the first half. Also, Admin Mahmic came in and he had a few shots on goal, but wasn't able to capitalize. So I think this was just an okay game by Bosnia's players. Um, the second half, they opened up more, specifically when Barektarevic and Mahmic came into the game. But the offense, the attackers just really didn't have enough opportunities to give themselves a chance to tie the game and win the game. So that's pretty much all I got to say about the players. So going forward, I think Bosnia's soccer team has a very bright future. Um, we have the 2028 Euros to look forward to, the 2030 World Cup to look forward to. We have a lot of young players. Kerim Alajbegovic, 18, Esmir Barektarevic, 21, Ermin Mahmic, very young, and all the other guys are pretty young as well. Edin Dzeko probably is going to wrap up his career. So the future looks very bright for Bosnia soccer, even though this specific game was disappointing. It still stings. The overall 2026 World Cup, the qualification process that Bosnia went through this past year was very successful. The actual World Cup, the group stage, was successful, and we made it to the knockout round. We lost to a host who played better than us, the US. They deserve to move on. So, in the micro, this game versus the US stings and it's disappointing. But in the macro, we had a very successful year as a soccer nation. We had a successful 2026 World Cup. We have a lot of tournaments upcoming to look forward to. Like I mentioned, Euros 28, World Cup 30. We have a lot of young players. We're going to get more players as well. So I'm very optimistic for the upcoming years. Can't wait to watch Bosnia's team in other tournaments. Congratulations to the US in this game. They play Belgium in the next game. That's going to be a tough game versus a Belgium team who just came back versus Senegal. So good luck to the US the rest of the way. We'll see how far they go. And can't wait to watch Bosnia in the next major tournament. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to share as far as my reaction to the Bosnia USA game. I hope you got some value out of the content and enjoyed the video. If you did, again, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. Hit that like button and make some comments on your reaction to the Bosnia USA game. See you next time and take care.